Good evening, everybody. It's Tracy Frith here I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta. I just realized I don't have my camera very straight here, so bear with me for just a second. Let me try and straighten things up a little bit here. Okay, we're going to go with that because I don't want to move things too much. All right, so I thought today I would do a card that plays with vellum a little bit. So I am using, obviously, vellum cardstock. So for that, I have a piece that is, I didn't measure this, so I can't remember. It is slightly smaller than 2 7/8. So it's not quite 2 3/4, and not quite 2 7/8. So it's kind of in between there. And then same thing, it's a little larger than 4 1/8, but not quite 4 1/4. All right, so that's my vellum, the see-through cardstock. I have, I'm going to use on a scrap piece of white cardstock, I'm going to use 2 of the deckled rectangle frames. So these are the 3rd and 4th largest frames from that set. And I've actually already gone ahead and cut this out. So I'm going to show you what I did for that, and that's how I got my measurement for this one. So what I did is I cut out a frame out of basic white using these 2. So I layered the 2 frames on my embossing machine like that on top of my white cardstock, and then I ran it through to give me the frame. And then once I did that, then I measured my piece of vellum because the vellum is going to go on the back of the frame. Okay. All right. And then I've got another piece of white that I'm going to do some more die cutting with. Another scrap. And I have a scrap of white, basic white, and I have a scrap of Moody Mauve. Hi, Mom. I'm glad you got to come on. Then I don't have to talk to myself tonight. So yeah, so Moody Mauve, basic white. And that's basically the colors that we're going to use tonight for cardstock. I have a basic white base, and you can use the regular, or if you want to use the thick basic white, you can do that too. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. That's our card base. And then I've got a piece of the, I think it's the Cheerful Daisies. Nope, Fresh as a Daisy. The stamp set is Cheerful Daisies, but this is Fresh as a Daisy designer paper. So I've used the one with the Moody, it's got a Moody Mauve background and some Bubble Bath, I think Copper Clay, and I can't remember what the other colors are. I think there's Garden Green in there somewhere. And then that's the back of this one. So we're going to use the pretty side today. I've used lots of the back side of this paper, but not a lot of the front. So I thought I would do that for today. And then I pulled out a little stamp from the Timeless Arrangement. I just wanted something that was just little. So I grabbed the 2U one. And we're going to do some embossing as well on the vellum. So what I've done, I've actually done a lot of the cutting ahead of time, so this probably is going to be quick. The first thing we'll do, I think, is I'm going to glue my vellum onto my frame. So I'm going to put glue on the back of the frame, I think. Is that what I want to do? Yes. I'm going to use my little thin glue because I don't want to get a lot of glue all over the place tonight for this one. And this one will it'll actually kind of showcase the designer paper, and it'll show you how you can use the vellum as a focal point and also to not that this DSP needs softening much, but you can use vellum on top of the designer paper and it'll just kind of soften the pattern. If you have one that you're not, because you always get several different sheets in the package, so sometimes there's 1 or 2 that aren't your favorites. Sometimes putting a piece of vellum over top can just help soften it a little bit so it doesn't stand out quite so much. Hopefully I've got enough on here. So this is the Tombow liquid glue, and I've just put it into a different container, different bottle with a really skinny nozzle. And what I found since I got this is there's definitely times when I want to use the skinny nozzle, but there are times when I like the original container as well, and I'll probably use that a little bit in a bit. So this one for some of the other stuff on this project. Okay, now I'm going to try and see if I can put the vellum on here without making a big mess. And it's pretty tight for size. So you just want to really watch that you're getting it where you want it without having it over the edges. Okay, so that looks pretty good. All right, so I've got my vellum glued on to my frame. All right, then I'm going to fold my card base. And I don't know where my bone folder is. There it is. My grandson has been over and he likes to make cards. So he makes cards with stickers. That's his way of making cards. So, but he's discovered in the last little while, he used to make it, but we used to give him like a full piece of paper and he would cover the whole thing with stickers. Now he wants to make cards like grandma. So he gets the half sheet. He has to help me cut it and he scores it with the trimmer. And then he uses the bone folder to crease it down. So he's getting to be quite the professional in his card making now. And then I'm just gonna, I'm gonna pull out that glue now. Hopefully it's got some left in it. And I'm gonna just glue that onto the front. I think it goes that way. We're gonna say it goes that way. And so yeah, so this is a pretty simple card. There's a little bit of die cutting that I did ahead of time, but even that didn't take me that long. Sometimes it's fiddly to do on camera, so. And my die cutting machine is not on this table, so it's nice sometimes to just do that ahead of time. All right, so there's the front of my card. All right, now what I've also done is I've gone ahead, I'm using, so I use the deckled rectangles to make the frame, and now I'm going to use the wanted to say dies. So these come, I grabbed a picture here. Whoops, dropping things. These are, hopefully they can come into, yeah, so these ones here. So they have You're Too Kind, Happy Birthday, Feel Better Soon, Celebrate, and then a few other little dies. This is a standalone set. It doesn't come with, it doesn't coordinate with a stamp set, so you can kind of use it on its own or you can put it with other things. So I'm going to use today the Happy Birthday, and I'm using both the words and the, what do you call it, the offset, I guess, the shadow part. So I've gone ahead and I die cut the shadow, the offset, out of the Whisper White, or Basic White, sorry. It used to be called Whisper White. It's not anymore. So get those out of the way. And I did the words themselves out of the Moody Mauve. Punch that little piece out. So for this, now I'm going to just put some glue, and I always forget to do it. If you put an adhesive sheet on your scrap before you cut these out, then you don't have to use the little glue to try and get it on all the little bits, but I always forget to do that. We were just talking about that the other day too. So I'm going to go ahead and do it with my glue, my little skinny glue. And this nozzle is actually beautiful for this kind of stuff. This little skinny bottle. So these little bottles, I think they're available on Amazon. Just a fine tip nozzle. And I'm just doing some little dots on the letters. And you can do this with just the regular Tombow dispenser. It just gives you a little bit more precision. All right, so then this is going to go up here. So you just kind of want to line it up, center it in your shadow there, or your offset. And I'll do the same with the birthday. So Mom, what have you went out for a day out today. I saw. Was it a good day? We're in our last week of our summer camps at work now, and everything else is kind of, all of our other summer programming is done. So that means this week is pretty much just daytime work. And then next week I will be back in the morning, so probably 10. It won't be any later than 10. It'll be 10 or maybe 9:30 just, but likely 10 o'clock. But I will put that information up next week for my live, and because we're doing a staff meeting in the evening that day. So I thought I was going to do one more evening session, but I forgot and scheduled the staff meeting. So morning it will be. All right. And then this is going to go right in, oops, sorry, I'm knocking the camera with my head. The great day, oh, driving in the country. Oh, that would be nice. It would be a beautiful day for that today. The leaves are starting to turn, and oh, and you got to go to lots of quilting stores. Awesome. Sounds like a good day. All right, so I've got that done. So now I think what I'm going to do, and put this, I don't think I need this one again. So now I'm going to do my stamping, and I'm also going to do some embossing here. So I'm going to pull out my embossing buddy. And I'll just give that a bit of a swipe across. What did I decide I was doing with this? I think I decided I was going this direction. I almost forgot that. Okay, so we're going this direction. So I just need to do this along the bottom here. And I maybe shouldn't have glued that first, but you know what? We'll give it a shot and see what happens. Live and learn, right? So that's going to go like that. This is going to go here. And then I'm just going to stamp the little to you on the bottom underneath. So I think I'll do that right in the center of that. So let's get this out of the way. Oh, I need this piece. I'll give it one more swipe, just make sure. And I'll bring that in. And this, so I'm using the 2U from the Timeless Arrangements, and I've got my Versamark ink. Get that inked up. Let's see if I can kind of line it up. Sort of kind of centered maybe. Hopefully. I'll go right about there. And I'm going to bring in my coffee filter and my white embossing powder. I'll just give that a little bit of a shake. Don't need too much for this one. And then I always like to have a little paintbrush that I can use for a couple things here. And give it a tap on the back to get off any loose powder, and then you can give it a little brush. So when I said I maybe should have waited before I glued the vellum onto the frame, what I just thought about was when I dumped the embossing powder off, it may catch in the edge there. So we'll give it a little bit of a extra tap. Okay, I think we're good there. And I'm going to put this back in the bottle. And that can go out of the way. My lid on my ink. And then I'm just going to grab my heat tool. It'll be a little bit noisy for a second. Let's actually see if I can make this reach over here so you can see. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but know if you could see that, but when you do the heat embossing, it melts the embossing powder and then it kind of goes shiny. You can see it change from the powder to the not powder, the shiny part. Okay, so now I'm going to put some glue on the back of this piece and I'm going to attach it right to there. I don't think I'm going to bother with, I could use dimensionals and pop it up a little bit, but I don't think I'm going to bother with that today. We're just going to go with some glue. So when you're working with vellum, you have to be a little bit careful with your adhesives because lots of them will show through the vellum. So if I were to just put like this glue onto a piece of vellum to stick it down, it will, when it dries, it will show through. You'll be able to see the glue. So you can just be a little bit strategic on how you put your glue on. This doesn't matter because I'm gluing the whole piece onto the card anyways. But if I didn't have the frame around this piece, then when I glued this onto my card, I would put my adhesive for the vellum underneath where this goes so that then it wouldn't show through because this would be covering it up, if that makes sense. All right, so now we're going to hopefully get this straight-ish and kind of centered. That's pretty good. So yeah, so normally I would put the glue under here, which I probably will actually still put a little bit there, but I also have the frame here that I can work with. So let's do this first. Another trick is if you can use a sponge or a sponge dauber or something, you can kind of spread glue over the whole piece of vellum and then it doesn't show through. I don't know why, or I guess it shows through evenly so you don't notice it. I'm not sure, but that also works really well. Okay. I've used this little bottle for the whole card tonight, pretty much, except for that one piece. All right, so then I'm just going to attach this piece onto the front of the card. Like so. And that is it. So there we go. That's the card. Super simple. Just a couple of reminders while I've got you here is there's only a couple more days left to use your bonus days coupons. So I think they expire on the 31st of August. So if you have some of those and you want to use them up, get an order in quick so you don't lose them. We also still have the kit sale on till the end of August while supplies last. So if you're looking at kits, I showed a couple of those the other day. Now's a great time to do that. I think I forgot to say this card was inspired by, I don't know how to say her last name, so I'm going to give it my best shot. It's Barbara Tarayeo, I believe. So I saw a similar card that she had done, and I really liked the way it looked, so thought I'd give it a shot. So I really actually quite like this. I think it's very pretty. I got my happy birthday to you. Kind of unfortunate. I maybe should have moved that over a little bit because I've got the white on the white, so it doesn't pop quite as much, but that's okay. I still like it. And I think that's it for announcements for right now. The new mini catalog will be coming out in early September. I can't remember. I said the dates the other day. I can never keep them in my head. I think it's the 4th or the 6th. September the 6th it will start. So this was our cover. Can't show the inside yet, but I did show you some of the product the other day. If you go back through my Facebook page, the video should be on there of the unboxing with some of the new product. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, thank you, Mom. I really like this. So you could do this with pretty much any designer paper, something along this line. And if you didn't have dies, you could certainly stamp and emboss the whole thing if you wanted to. That would work as well, if you don't have the dies to die cut the happy birthday. So yeah, it was a simple, kind of a neat idea. All right. So thanks again for watching. If anybody does want to place an order, if you have coupons to use up, or you just want to place an order for a kit or whatever, visit me at tracyfrith.stampinup.net. My shopping link is on there. You just have to click the Shop Now button and it'll take you right to the store. So you can do that. And if not, that's okay. I would love to see you again next week. So Tuesday, it should be Tuesday morning at 10. I will let you know if there's anything different, but 10 o'clock in the morning is the plan for now. All right. Have a great night, everybody.